So before I start this video, I just want to make it very well known that I am not here to reveal, expose, or spread any negativity about Calarts. I am just here to talk about my experiences from the past 4 years of my life. And in addition to that, I come from a very privileged place, coming from a family that was able to support my college education, while other people out there might be working just as hard or even harder than I am, going through so much more shit than I am, and will not be given the same opportunity. So I feel like the least I can do is enlighten y'all with the experiences I had, the knowledge I gained, and see if animation or going to Calarts might be right for you or something you're interested in. Otherwise, please remember that this is just my personal experience. It does not reflect everybody who went to that school's experience. And also, I would suggest and recommend that you do your own research about the school as well to form your own opinion on it. Otherwise, here's the tea on my experience at Calarts. So, for some background information, I am originally from New York, and I moved to California to pursue character animation at Calarts. I don't know how different the admission process is nowadays, but when I applied back in 2013 to 2014, I had these 3 personal tips that I would just keep to myself in my head, and I don't know if they might help you, but this is what I did. In my sketchbook, I would always do life drawings or figure drawings of people in environments or in cafes or whatever. You just want to show that there are people in a space. And then 2, I always just try to display different variations of the same idea. So I would explore different character ideas of the same character, and I would explore different story ideas of the same story. I would always do my best to try to include a story in everything that I did, because at the end of the day, animation is just another form of visual storytelling, and it's not necessarily the same as fine arts. So in my first year of Calarts, I definitely entered the school with wide ass, innocent ass, rose ass, tinted ass, glasses ass eyes. I went into the school thinking that it was a wonderland and that if I made it to this school, I can make it anywhere, but bitch, that was definitely not the case. And life doesn't work like that. But still, it was a very exciting time in my life where you're starting a new chapter of your life and you're getting onto another stepping stone closer to your goals in life. So can you really blame me for just being excited? One of the first things you should know about Calarts is that it's a school with a lot of animation history, and with a lot of history comes with the lack of keeping up with every single one of its facilities or dorms. I think they actually started making more changes towards the end of my time at Calarts and after I left, but while I was there, nothing was perfect, and neither is anything in life. But this is all hashtag first world problems shit. My biggest struggles that I dealt with during my first year of Calarts was definitely loneliness and low self-esteem, because who doesn't deal with that shit? But for me, I had my tight-knit group of ride or die bitches, biffles for life, whatever you want to freaking call them, back in New York, and I was the only one who moved to California, so it was kind of weird for me to just be so far away from the people that I was so intimate and close with. And while I did form very great acquaintances during my first year of Calarts, I felt like my homesickness just really held me back from forming closer friendships with people during my first year. So the way I literally just got through my first year was just going to class. You had classes from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., or 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. And then in between those time periods, I would go work on my film. And any free time I had in between those times, I would just go back to my room and Skype my friends, because they were the closest thing I could have to comfort. I was just dealing with a lot internally during my first year, and I feel like it might have made me seem very distant from everyone, but I was just trying to win the battle with my heart and get through the whole major shift in my life during my first year. And in addition to that, my level of self-esteem really just plummeted to the ground that year in terms of just the way I viewed my art and how I viewed myself. Because coming from a place where you are kind of the shit to everyone and going to a world where everybody's the shit, you don't really know how to separate yourself from everyone else or separate yourself from your own work. And that was kind of my struggle, because I felt like I struggled with body image but with my art, because I felt like my art reflected who I was as a person, and if my art did not seem good compared to everybody else's, I did not feel good about myself. I felt like I wasn't worthy of hanging out with people that had amazing art just because my art wasn't that great. And looking back on this is a very immature way of viewing things. Like, you are a separate person from the things you make, and this is why throughout almost all my videos, I always just promote the idea of living your own life and having your individuality apart from your art. Not only did my loneliness hold me back from reaching out to people, but so did my low self-esteem with my art. I pretty much just avoided art as much as possible my first year, and during my free time, I would just go to the movies by myself, Skype my friends back at home, or just go out and explore the area or go to LA alone a lot. And for the times that I went back to New York, I truly took advantage of my time to really just spend that quality time with my friends and family. So looking back on my first year, I definitely wouldn't say I was the happiest, but I did learn to be okay with being alone and just going out by myself and going out into the world and exploring places, whether if it was alone or with my friends. And these are things that I wouldn't have done in high school. So while I did that, it did cost me my art, and I wasn't exactly proud of my first year student film, and I wasn't exactly that proud of my attitude towards art in my first year, but hey, we all start off from somewhere. And towards the end of first year, I actually started animating again for fun. And I was just wondering to myself, why didn't I just do this all this time? Just animate for fun. So the summer after my first year, I actually went back to New York, and with the help of my beloved mother, got an internship at a fashion company called DKNY as a print design intern. And while I get compliments sometimes on my outfits, I just need to say that I absolutely have no passion working in fashion, and I like clothes, but working in the industry is a whole other thing. But despite the fact that it wasn't animation, I felt like I needed to still get some work experience under my belt, learn to interact with people at work, and just really experiment with another form of art and just make some money. But I think most importantly, it really just helped me solidify the fact that I really just am not passionate about fashion. So for my second year at Calarts, I was just determined to just change for the better and start working harder. But unfortunately, not to bring down the mood or anything, but my last living grandpa passed away right before school started. It was hard for my family, and it was hard for me to just come back to school right after that happened. But one of the things I will never forget that my aunt said was, she was like, "You should all work hard now and make grandpa proud." And obviously I did not take that shit lightly, because I come from a family of immigrants who came from Hong Kong, so yes, lay homa bitches, what up? I didn't want to be a waste of their efforts, sacrificing everything just to come to America. So that just kind of served as another motivating factor to push me to work harder and just really make my time at Calarts worth it. So that was also the year that I finally started making friends and forming more intimate, close relationships with my classmates, and we became BFFs for life. We also helped hold each other accountable for our films. We would go to the labs together and just work together. And between your second and fourth year, you also have this class called Film Workshop, which is literally a workshop where you have a teacher and a small group of peers, and you just bring in progress updates of your film every week, and everybody will give you feedback to help you make your film the best version of it that it can be. And normally this requires a lot of reboarding, and sometimes people don't want to focus on boarding and they want to focus on animation or CG stuff, or I don't know, visual development stuff. And it's really up to you to choose what you want to focus on with your film. But at the end of the day, everyone in this class is there to help you with your intention behind that film. But yeah, this class is ultimately just a therapy session for your film where you just sort out the issues and think about how you're going to approach solving them. But despite the fact that I had this transformation from first year to second year, I wouldn't really say it was necessarily for the better, because although I was working hard, my definition of working hard was working from 8 a.m. to 5 a.m. every day, eating like shit for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, not working out, not taking care of myself, and just not living healthfully. And it's weird because I went from one extreme of just avoiding art and doing it very minimally to all of a sudden trapping myself in the labs every day 24/7. And looking back on it now, it was really a toxic mindset to have, to just think about sacrificing your own well-being for the sake of your work, which I don't really recommend for anyone to do. But during that time period, I really just glorified that idea of overworking to just show that I was doing something with my life, while not realizing that I wasn't taking care of the person who was doing all of those things. So after my second year was when I finally got my first internship at an animation studio called Cartoon Network as a production intern on this show called Regular Show. And as a production intern, you don't really do anything art related, you kind of just help around with the production aspects of it. And it's kind of just an internship that gives you that opportunity to get your foot in the door and meet the people you want to meet and make the best out of your time there. So by the end of our internship, we were actually given the opportunity to just make a practice show pitch idea and just make a pitch Bible and present it to a group of people at Cartoon Network. And that was honestly a very valuable experience for me because I'm not the type of person who typically puts myself out there, so that kind of forced me to get out of my comfort zone. And I would also like to say that I'm super thankful for Cartoon Network for recognizing my efforts and actually giving me a scholarship that helped pay for a part of my tuition at Calarts. So my third year at Calarts is probably my favorite year that I had, just because I felt like it was a year that everything was working out for me. I really pushed my work-life balance and just wanted to make sure I was living my life while still working hard. And I really got into bullet journaling in the beginning of that year because y'all, you bet if I'm like exerting all this energy to make this blank ass notebook look like a fucking anthropology planner, like you bet I'm gonna follow whatever I told myself I was gonna do with that book, okay? So in that planner or that bullet journal, I would just tell myself, yo, you're gonna work from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day on your film, but you can only work on your film for those time periods. And after 6 p.m., you're not allowed to touch your film anymore because you gotta go work out and keep your body healthy and eat the right shit, okay? So yeah, third year was the year that I felt like I finally got all my shits together and I really got the opportunity to just work on a film that I just really wanted to do and kind of just gave no fucks about if like anybody didn't like it or not. I just kind of wanted to do something I liked and something I wanted. So it felt very good to just spend that year indulging in myself as a person. So I just chose a song that I've always liked and always listened to, and it was a song called Endlessly featuring Anna Yvette by Dabin, and he's a music artist I've listened to since high school, and I literally just reached out to him and was like, yo, can I use your song for my student film? I'm not gonna be making money off of it, whatever. And he actually responded and was just like, yeah, go ahead and use it. And from that point on was how I formed a connection with the music artist that I've been listening to since high school. So that was crazy for me. So even though I made that 9 to 6 p.m. time slot very valuable for me in terms of just working, I still remembered to try to make time for myself to also go out and have fun and explore Los Angeles and explore this state that I'm gonna be living in. I went to Coachella with my sister and I also met my boyfriend that year. So I felt like third year was really the year that I balanced out the extremities of first year and second year, and it felt like it all paid off the day that I got accepted into the producer's show for Calarts and I got a 2D animation internship at Disney Feature. For those of you wondering what the Calarts producer's show is, it's basically a show that kind of just selects a select few of the films done at Calarts and they showcase them to different animation studios, including your class, and you all just watch it together in a fancy theater. And it does open up opportunities for people who get in the show, but also remember that not getting into the show does not affect you in any negative way. Because at the end of the day, everyone has a different situation. You can still get into the producer's show and not have a promised job opportunity, and you can still not get into the producer's show and have a promised job opportunity, or it could be either way. I only got into the show 1 year while other students get in every year. Basically, all I'm trying to say is don't get too bummed out if you don't get in the show, because there is no one direct single path for success. So after my third year at Calarts, I actually had a 2D animation internship at Disney, and now originally I applied to be a storyboard artist intern, but you know, they rejected me and they're like, I don't know, sweetie, maybe you're just not ready for this right now. Maybe the stars will align for you another day. And I was just like, oh, okay. But then they were like, but do you want to be a 2D animation intern? And I was just like, hell yeah. Like, I don't got shit to lose. So I took that opportunity, and I actually had a really great time interning as a 2D animation intern because one, I still love animating, and two, I got to animate a 2D dragon for an animated CG short that I worked alongside with the other interns, and we had a really great time. I am still friends with those interns to this day. I don't even want to call them the other interns because they were my friends. I really learned the importance of working with a group of people that you can just genuinely enjoy being around. So that's why I kind of like the animation industry, is because for the most part, your relationships at work are usually your friendships. So finally, for my last year at Calarts, I felt like it was honestly not that eventful, but I spent the first semester of the school year just interning at DreamWorks/NBC Universal as a character art intern. And if you're wondering what a character artist does, is you basically help create poses and artwork that supplements films that are already existing or will exist. So you're not directly working on the films themselves, but you're helping market these films and promoting the film through other media. So if you're worried about how your internships currently aren't aligning with your end goal, or you don't have any internships at all, like, bitch, don't worry. I wanted to be a storyboard artist, but never in my life had a storyboard artist internship. So my fourth year at Calarts was kind of just another continuation of my third year, where I would just make time to work on my films, and also remember to make time to work out, and also remember to make time to spend time with my friends, and also remember to make time for myself. But I was like, y'all, shit's getting a little bit too mundane and routine for me. I need something to spice this up. So that's when I decided that I'm just gonna revamp my Instagram, and if you're not following me already, it's @newtripled if I have not mentioned it 12 times already. I was just remembering the good old days when I was just a little girl and just sharing my shit on YouTube with MS Paint and Windows Movie Maker, but now that I have the acquired skills to draw, and now I have the developed work ethic to produce the stuff, like, where is my audience? What am I doing with my life? Why am I hiding from the world? What the heck? So that's when I decided to revamp my Instagram, because at first I just posted random drawings from like Inktober's to random illustrations from my sketchbooks. They kind of did not have a clear direction, and I wanted to start to promote my voice or things that I just wanted to say on my Instagram, and that's when I started making small comics about my life, and I slowly introduced like little facts about myself with every post I made, or just, you know, just gradually warmed people up to the person making all this work. It's kind of intimidating to go back on the internet after like I spent a few years just not existing on it, because originally, you know, because back then I definitely gave less shits and there was less people who knew of me. I was just a girl just working in my room, and the only people who knew me were people in high school. And now that I've gone to college and made friends there, and I have friends at work, it's just like, oh my god, what are people gonna think of me if they see this about me? But at the same time, you have to remember that no one really cares other than you, or no one really cares as much as yourself. Because for someone who wanted to put herself out there, I needed to learn how to get out of my comfort zone. So yeah, that is basically a summary of my personal experience at Calarts for the past 4 years of my life. But also know that everybody, again, is going to have a different experience going to that school, and also it is not a requirement for you to even go to Calarts to get into the animation industry if that is what you want. I have plenty of friends who never even graduated from Calarts, or even went to Calarts, or even went to an animation related school and still are in the animation industry. And with the internet nowadays, you have so many other opportunities like online classes. There's a place called Concept Design Academy that I heard through from friends, and you have social media like Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, whatever social media is out there to share and promote your work and just connect with people that might be a part of the industry or friends that you might know. You kind of just have a lot of options now to put yourself out there, so I would totally take advantage of that now. And yeah, I hope this video enlightened y'all in some way about my life experience in general, or Calarts, or animation, even though I really just talked about my life. But yeah, I've just kind of been waiting to do a video like this since I started Calarts, but never made the experiences to really even talk about them. But I figured that this would be a good time to reflect on my time there, since it's already been over a year since I graduated, and that's kind of crazy, but that's some good time for reflection. So thank you again, and see you later, bitches.